he can, while you're preparing, Roy can be off in the most ridiculous places, making you laugh. And, they're like saying, we're ready, marks, and, the tape is rolling, speed, action, and Roy is still telling you the joke. And he won't let go. He's got you right here, and he just tells you the joke, and they're saying action while he says the punchline, and, I'm sitting there going, oh my God, and a tear is rolling over the edges. He does the very soft, sad thing, which just happens immediately for him, because he's so good. And, but yeah, that was probably my favorite with Mouse and Father, because we did get to do a little of the humor and a little of the sort of dry, understated humor that I like so much. That some of us might be prone to call. Oh, the scene. Sorry. The scene about the disassembled piano in chamber music. It sort of had a more dry kind of the English humor that always makes me laugh so much, and that Roy has such a good grip on. Wonder why. That's probably my favorite Mouse Vincent scene. That's a little more complex because they gave us a lot to do together. I think my personal favorite, for personal reasons, is probably, the name of the episode, is evading me, but it's this, the one where Mouse mounted the crystal. Temptation, thank you, yes. Because that was my second episode. And, in the first, The Shades of Grey, my part was, rather large, and, but I didn't have an awful lot of truck with Ron, with Vincent, because he was, behind the cave and everything. And, Roy and I had a bunch of stuff to do in the trial of Mouse. But Vincent and I didn't do that much. I don't know, I've never even asked them this, but I always kind of had the feeling that scene in Temptation was there a little bit as an audition scene to see how I did with Vincent and what the character might bring out. And that's certainly how I saw it when I got the script. I was like, I better be very good. Or moreover, I wanted to find a way to bring out something in Vincent's character that perhaps the other characters could not, because Mouse had a lot of license that the other characters didn't. And the scene sort of had a tendency to be sort of like, neener, you got a girlfriend. And nobody, the show had such a serious tone, and nobody was going up to Vincent and going, and I thought, well, if I can manage to make him feel a little embarrassed by this, then I'm going to bring out something in Vincent that they're not pulling out every week, and maybe that will make me valuable to the show. And so that's what I chose to do, and I thought the scene played really well. And so that's probably my favorite, even though there were many others that too many to mention, because when you're working with, actors like we're talking about, every scene that you do with them is a great blessing. And a great lesson, and a lot of fun. Ron Perlman, could make me cry with his back to me. So it's hard to pick out which would be the best, or which was my favorite, because so many. But that was probably the most satisfying for me. It's a good question. I like that question. It's nice to think about the show. It's been quite a while,
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you going to be with us on Monday? Are you going to come to the African Botanicum by any chance?
No, I don't believe I will be there
Okay.
for that. I would like very much to be, but I have some other things I have to do on Monday. I was very disappointed that Armin's not playing Richard. What we know here is that he's more disappointing, because this is the part he's wanted to play for a long time. Some of us have seen him do Richard at cons, and he's kind of he's a Richard nut. And I don't know what film he got, but I hope it's very good, since he had to go to Richard for it. And I'm sorry not to be seeing him play Richard, I was looking forward to that greatly. You're going to enjoy theatrical very much. For any of you who haven't been up there, it's beautiful. It's so rustic and lovely, and you just feel so content there. There's a Shakespeare garden. Yes, sir.
I just recently saw a movie called Fatal Instinct.
Yeah.
And there was a scene, Armand,
Yes, indeed.
I thought I recognized the guy who fell.
Yes, indeed. Very, very good eye. Yes, indeed, that was me. That was me. I had a beer, and yeah, that was me. That was fun. That was a great deal of fun. That's one of the parts. Lately, I've been going through this thing where I get parts that are fairly good in movies with good directors and everything, and then my part winds up being very, very, very small by the time it actually gets onto the screen. Very, very small. Anyway, it's like, oh, Mom, don't even bother. But yeah, it was a great deal of fun doing that. Carl Reiner was the director on that film, which is why I wanted to do it to begin with, because Carl's been making me laugh since I was a little boy with his work, and I worked with his son also. I think that's why the scene stayed in, because I told Carl, I said, I have bad luck with you Reiners, because Rob cut me entirely out of his first movie, Spinal Tap. So I told Carl, I said, I've got, I want to be in the movie, They were looking at me for a couple of parts. I was like, which one cannot be cut? And Armand Asante was very, very fine to work with. Surprisingly, as a matter of fact, rehearsal-oriented. A lot of actors don't rehearse much. Armand was very much into. You saw what we, that one little thing we did. We must have rehearsed it more than I usually rehearse. And a very sweet man. And Carl Reiner, guys, is like the nicest guy who's ever been in show business for more than 6 months. An amazingly sweet man, amazingly thoughtful, and it was just really nice to work with somebody like that, because he's so talented and he's done so many things over the years, and then to meet him and find that he's just a heck of a mensch of a guy. I was impressed. It was a fun film to work on. Another film that I did recently that had the same sort of effect, where my part was very small by the time it got done, was Panther. The story of the Black Panther Party that was out fairly recently. And I play a cop in that. I have a couple lines left, but that was a great deal of fun doing that as well. We had Dick Gregory, comedian and political activist and diet guru. And it was really, really excellent to have a great deal of time to spend with him, because he's first of all, a very funny man, and also incredibly knowledgeable and wise man. It was great to have a lot of time to speak with him. That was really nice. And working with Mario Van Peebles he was the director of the film. He was very excellent. I have good things to say about Mario. And yeah, that's about it. Any questions? Yes? I'm not sure yet what's going to be released. I'll let the zines know and so forth when we have solid word. Working on something that's not on the market yet, and maybe doing quite a bit more of that stuff, because it's really nice to work. You sort of come in and wear whatever you want. Don't have to shave or anything. Sort of come in and talk. Wow, did you see that? We're done. For this, I trained 4 years. But I'm a big cartoon freak, I love cartoons. And I don't mean animation. Everybody loves animation. I love animation. I like cartoons. Saturday morning, you wake up, there they are. I like them all. So I want to be doing cartoon voices, so that I can have somebody to listen for in the morning. Other than Renee Auberjonois, who is on every cartoon in the world. Have you noticed that? He is on every cartoon, and Tim Curry is on every cartoon in the world now too. I started noticing that, and that's when I went, wait a minute, this is a great thing to do for a living.
We think you should try and do gargoyles.
Gargoyles is my favorite. I love that show. That show is so good that, kind of like another show I know, I really don't think they should have done it as half-hour episodes. I think it should have been a film.